another video. And today we're talking about playfulness with life. Unbelievable, I know. For as long as I can remember, there was always this saying of stop taking life too seriously. And I feel like I kind of understood it. I'm like, okay, yeah, just don't think about everything so critically and how everything has to be perfect all the time. I think it's like pretty decent advice. But what it lacked was the ability to tell you what to do. When anyone says don't do something, well, what do you fill that void with when you're not doing that anymore? And Alan Watts, there's a little speech with him that I listened to, and it really articulated what I've been feeling for a while now in life. My relationship with life has totally changed. And it wasn't because I was taking life less seriously. It was because I was taking life more playfully. I was engaging myself in these different scenarios and putting myself out there through a playful lens. Like it's almost like fun to go talk to someone new, someone random, and fun to learn about their own life's perspectives and have a fun conversation with them, because the conversations that you'll have with them, they're not going to be the be all end all conversation of the world. There is no there should be no moment of stress really associated with this stuff. But it's hard to get rid of stress if you don't know what to kind of think about going into it. And I really do think Alan Watts' idea of the playful nature of life can just substantially improve your entire existence. Because when you're a kid, you are probably pretty happy, if you had a decent upbringing, and you just go outside, play, go and stride with everything. Like everything to you was so new and fresh and kind of a game. You were learning how to play the game, and the best way to play was to just take everything lightly, because you would come up with a rationale for something, but it would get overwritten with a new one next week, because you actually truly discovered what it was. Because you're just a kid, you don't know too much, so every scenario is new. You can't take everything so seriously as a kid, and I don't think you really do. Well, there's probably moments of upsetness that you take seriously, but you kind of just go with the flow, play with your friends, and you know, you can create lifelong lasting relationships because you just like to kick a ball. You and William like to kick a ball. And now William is your lifelong friend. When we get rid of playfulness in our life, suddenly when we're adults, like the people that are so hyper focused in the world of stress and just like career and all these attributes, they are not ones to make a friend if someone likes to kick a ball. These are the types of people that just are trapped in their own world. But by being a bit more playful, suddenly you open yourself to all these new friendships or moments in your life where people also want to play with you. Playfulness is an invitation to others to join you in just enjoying the life. We all don't know what's going on in life. We all are doing the same exact thing. We think that everything has more organization than it actually does. And by being playful, we can help people break away from that strict, like almost oppressive, just grinding trajectory and into a more playful, light, fulfilling life. Because now you're walking on the street and you see a cat and you can stop and just enjoy the presence of the cat because you're like, ooh, that's fun. That's curious. I want to see what Mr. Cat's doing, and you're just playful with it. You stop giving so much weight to what it actually is, Oh, it's just a cat. It's nothing. I've seen so many cats before. Like, that's what someone that doesn't have any playfulness in their life would do. And they would just walk past the cat. But if you have a bit more playfulness, you'll maybe see the cat and you'll be like, oh, like you go up to it and you chat with it. Hello, Mr. Cat. Nice to see you. Maybe this is like a dumb analogy or a dumb explanation, but because there's different levels of playfulness, of course. But I guess what I'm just saying is, you are allowed to choose how you interact with life. You are allowed to change how you interact with life. I think so often we get set in our ways and we don't even realize it. That you can and should change if you feel like you need to. I think I have this core example in my life of I really craved going for runs when I was younger, but no one in my life would go for runs. I felt it was such a bad thing to do as a result. So it took me many more years before I had the courage to actually go for runs. I didn't have the example, the role model, And I think that's what can be experienced in life with everything. People in your life maybe don't call you, right? But maybe you don't call them. And I know it's like a he shit. They don't do this, so I'm not going to do this. But realistically, the more times that you reach out, it will help them on the other side realize that it's okay to reach out. They have 90% of the time, they just have their own busy life as well. And you changing how you interact with the world slowly leads by example and shows people what's okay to do. If you start to be a lot more nicer to people or kinder, suddenly that the kindness rubs off on them. They want to be a little kinder now in their own life because they see that it's okay to be kind. I don't have to just always be closed off and mean all the time. By showing people an expression of something, you help them come to a resolution in their own life. And I think it's true with playfulness. So many people are serious at all times throughout life, throughout the day. And by just having a little bit of playfulness in your step, the change that you can see around you is unbelievable. If you ever get in a conversation and you make a mistake and it's kind of funny, you know? People often, they have a stick up their butt, will feel embarrassed, feel ashamed that they even made a mistake in the conversation and like the other person's laughing about it or whatever. But it's that very moment that you can choose playfulness versus being serious. To me, I would think that's hilarious if I made a mistake. Just laugh it off. Like it's not that big of a deal. The conversation is not the end all be all. And if you choose the path to laugh it off, then you can connect and bond with the other person who is also appreciating the laughter of the situation. But the moment you close yourself off to that, you're closing yourself off to the other person as well. And you'll continue on in your own isolated existence. I think it's very apparent, and I've been doing more and more public speaking and like just I've been trying to expose myself to a lot more of that as of late, and it's been really good because I started to even see the playfulness of public speaking as a whole. It doesn't have to also be a serious exercise. You can just kind of be yourself up there because that is what people long for. They love to see people's personalities. Personality is what makes reality so real and true. And if you have a little bit of more playfulness in your life, I think it just makes everything more fruitful. So I think the idea is you don't necessarily have to be less stressed about life, because certainly there's always going to be stressors. There's a lot to do at all times, but it's to take all that stress, all those things that you need to accomplish, and realize how the playful nature of life fits into that. How all these things that you need to do, you don't actually truly need to do them. So you can exert this more playfulness towards them, still like do a good job, but you really back off a little bit from it, and you can dance around and joke about like all the things in between having to do them, because the things that stress you out are no longer your core identity. So your personality doesn't become just a stress ball. If you are a playful individual now, your personality will become one that is lighter, more fluffy, rounder, and these are just attributes that people love to see, because we all are just grinding in life. We are all stressed out. And the moment someone walks into life that, is has a lot of stuff that they're doing, they're engaged with life, but then are somehow taking everything in stride and just not really stressed about it, I think that is someone that we look up to and are just like, I want to try to be more like that, because life is not necessarily have to be just strictly game. It can also be play. I don't know if that actually works, but yeah. But I'm Matthew. This is just a little rant or conversation that I thought of, and just vocalizing it helps me iterate some of these ideas further. Because I mean, that's literally what I do in these videos. I have a much more playful relationship with them. I don't necessarily write a script before my videos. I'm just learning how to articulate and flow through the thoughts as they come up. I just have this like basic idea, and soon I'm just flowing with conversation and not really worrying too much about where it goes. Just go with the flow, play with the words, play with how I perceive it. And I think doing so can certainly just make life a little bit more interesting and better. Because, frankly, also with a playful nature, I'm not worried about when I put these videos out what criticism or people are going to think of them. Before I did, I have family, I have whatever that potentially could watch them, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just having fun making videos. It's not that deep, Every opinion in here or whatever is just this very abstract, fluid thing that can totally change with more and more conversations. But with me and the camera, it's just a conversation. But anyway, I think I tried to close this video like 4 times, but this one will be successful now. Number 5. Peace. I've been Matthew. I hope you enjoyed my conversation, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.